Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and a couple different things today. Went to a local metal show. I'm gonna show some couple of P albums for Jacob's Alphabet Thread, and then some movie stuff at the end. So if you don't care about movies, no hard feelings. So this weekend I went to something called Metal Mandy Presents the Metal Family Gathering. It was at a small club in Battle Creek, Michigan, kind of out in the middle of nowhere next to a factory. I've been there a few times. They get some national acts, obviously kind of on the lower end of things. Like I saw King's X there a few years ago. I've seen Warrior Soul there, Sons of Apollo, stuff kind of that level. But they have a lot of local shows. So this came on my radar because the opening band is a band I really like. They're a local band from Kalamazoo. I've got a shirt at the show. They're called One with the Riverbed. They've got a demo and a couple albums. This is the only thing available physically. It's called Absence, and Solace is a digital one. And this came out in 2021. It's available on their Bandcamp. I'll link that below. So they're I guess you would say post-black metal, atmospheric, black gaze kind of thing. Longer songs with lots of build up to a crescendo. So if you're into that kind of style, I hate to say Deaf Heaven because people hate Deaf Heaven, but it's not a bad comp. But very fun band. Always good to see them. I'm trying to be more cognizant of when they're playing, because being a local band, it's like, they're playing and I'm like, I can see them another time. And as I just went through in my video about Rolling Head, I wish I had seen them more when I had the chance. So trying to get out there and see them more. Anyway, so this show, I didn't know what the theme was, what Metal Mandy was. Apparently, she's a DJ at some radio station in Jackson, Michigan, which is fairly close to Battle Creek. And I guess this is my confession of being an elitist, because at this show, I just looked around and just wanted to scream, "Poser!" It just, there were people with battle vests on. The most underground type thing I saw was somebody had an Amon Amarth patch. People had patches like Bad Company, Queen, which is fine. I don't know. I just don't understand your battle vest and you're putting on like the most top 40 70s rock radio bands on there. I don't understand that. Yeah, just kind of not my crowd, man. There was some guy dressed up like a clown who had a vest on that had a bunch of clown patches all over it. It seemed very like a Slipknot-y type crowd. And there were no problems. I mean, nobody gave me shit or anything, but it just I did not feel like I was among my people, I guess you would say. So I saw One with the Riverbed. They were awesome. And then the next band, Voluntary Mortification, kind of more of a deathcore thing. I mean, okay, but the sound was not great, and not really knowing their material and not really being that into their style, I kind of didn't do much for me. The next band was Filth Spewer. Kind of, and they had a female singer that was growling like a dude, which not totally my thing. I guess death metal-ish, but I would put them again more on the deathcore side of things. At their merch stand, they had their own hot sauce. I don't know, man. You're an unknown band and you're already making hot sauce merch. I don't know. That was kind of it for me. There were two more bands. My buddy I went with, he was not really that into staying, so we just kind of took off. But I don't know. Am I being a dick? I felt like I wanted to get out of there, but then also I felt very judgmental about it. So I don't know. I saw the band I came to see, and I stuck around for a couple more. They weren't for me, so I took off. But that was the Metal Family Gathering in Battle Creek, Michigan. All right, I pulled out some P albums, just kind of real quick. Pulled out this one, Pyogenesis with Waves of Erotasia. This is an EP. They had a bunch of EPs before this that I have not heard, and then a full length after this, which is kind of in this vein, kind of death doom with like a gothy overlay. I guess you could say Paradise Lost inspired. But this one, I've always come back to this one because it's super short, but everything on it is really catchy, and I really have enjoyed it. The follow-up full length was kind of in this vein, but I didn't think it was as strong. And then they went way off the rails and into like alt rock, and I don't even, they're still going, but haven't followed them in years. This came out in '94, I believe. Just kind of an interesting one to pull out. This one probably a lot of people know, Paramecium, Exhumed of the Earth. So this is Death Doom, verging on Funeral Doom, I guess you would say. Christian band formed by Jason Sherlock of Mortification and Horde. Just really, if you're into that My Dying Bride type, Peaceville 3, Death Doom of that era, and you haven't heard this, I would highly recommend it. It's been reissued a few times now. For a while, it was pretty hard to get, but I would highly recommend it. They're still going. I haven't kept up with them. I think Jason Sherlock left at some point, but right. This one, not metal at all. Palace, One for the Road. So this is the solo project of Michael Palace, a Swedish multi-instrumentalist, singer, producer. It's on Frontiers. He does a lot of work with Frontiers, like writing songs for other projects. And his material is kind of varied between albums, but this one is just basically like a love letter to 80s AOR pop rock. But every song is super catchy, great choruses, very anthemic, really cool guitar work as well. So this is not heavy at all, but if you're into like some kind of 80s nostalgia, you want to listen to Journey, but not actually Journey, then you might get into this. Palace, One for the Road. And then I pulled out Psycho Punch from Sweden. This one has the very clunky title of "We Are Just as Welcome as Holy Water in Satan's Drink." So this, again, not metal. This is on the White Jazz label from 98, 99. My eyes suck. I can't read. It's one of those. So this is in the vein of kind of that Swedish rock revival at the time of like the Helicopters and things like that. Just really, really fun, fast-paced hard rock with a little bit of a punk edge. But again, super catchy songs. They're still going as well. Their stuff kind of tends to be harder to come by, so I don't have a lot. But whenever something pops up, I make sure to grab it, because this album and then the one that came after it, I ended up getting as a promo. That's how I found out about them. But I play them all the time. So Psycho Punch from Sweden, if you're into some looking for some hard rock. And that's it for the music content. I do have a movie thing here. So I have been kind of enamored lately with the erotic thriller genre from kind of the mid to late 90s, maybe early to late 90s. If you're not familiar with this, they were the kind of movies around Cinemax late at night. A lot of boobs, a lot of softcore sex scenes. So this genre kind of came into prominence. It was around before this, but the success of Basic Instinct kind of really ramped it up. Kind of like crime thrillers with a lot of sex and nudity, and it became a direct-to-video staple. Like, you would go new release wall in the video store, and you just see these everywhere. Shannon Tweed, of course, was like the queen of these movies. I don't know how many she made. It was probably over 100. And then there were like kind of the lower tier stars like Shannon Worry and Lisa Boyle. And then, you go on down the list. But these movies have basically disappeared. Most of them were straight to VHS. And by the time DVD kind of became a popular format, this genre was kind of dead. And so most of these movies never made it to DVD. If they did, it was like a very early DVD that's way out of print. And let's be honest, these movies are garbage. I'm not going to pay $100 for a DVD, a shitty VHS rip DVD of one of these movies. But a division of MVD, who puts out a lot of like retro stuff and reissues, It's called Skin Max, obviously playing off Cinemax. They've been putting out double features of some of these types of movies that they can find decent copies of. They look, for the most part, they look like they are VHS rips, but very good ones. They're full frame, and sometimes it gets a little fuzzy. But yeah, I was very excited to see these, strangely, and a couple of them were on sale recently, and I grabbed a couple. So I watched this one. I watched both movies. They both star Tane McClure, who was kind of like, maybe not second tier, but like kind of the third tier star of some of these types of movies. She was married to Jonathan Cain from Journey. She had an album out like in the early 80s that kind of didn't really do much, and then became more of an actress model. She's been in some big budget things, like she played Reese Witherspoon's mom in the Legally Blonde movies. She was a stripper in Go. A lot of these actresses were like in bigger budget movies, but they were always like, hot girl number 4 or stripper number 3. But so anyway, I watched these. The first one, Sexual Impulse. So this one, remember I said erotic thriller, like there's some kind of like maybe a mystery or some kind of crime has happened or there's some danger. This kind of starts like that and then goes nowhere. It's all over the place. It's about a gentleman's club, not like a strip club, but like an old time men's club, like a bar that you need to pay a membership to and only men are allowed. And it's supposed to be like a stance against the feminists in the 90s. Like the feminists are trying to get them closed down because they don't allow women in. And there's a very, very serious like robbery thing at the beginning where some thugs come in and there's a shootout and they end up killing the owner. So then the owner, he passed it down to his second in command or whatever, and they owe a bunch of back taxes, and the city's trying to shut them down, and so it becomes like one of these boner comedy type plots of, we need to raise $50,000 to save the bar / snack shop / ski lodge / whatever. So then that's where Tane McClure comes in. She shows up to be the new bartender, and she's super hot, and everybody's in love with her, so they just hire her right away, and then she starts kind of orchestrating how they're going to save the place. She brings in girls to be waitresses that immediately just rip their tops off, and they have topless waitresses now. The big money-making scheme at the end is just straight up prostitution. They just bring a bunch of hot girls in there, and then guys pay $200 to go upstairs and fuck the girls. And this is presented like in a fun-loving way. Very dumb. And this, so if you're looking for wall-to-wall nudity, Sexual Impulse is for you. There's just tons of different girls. I stopped counting. There's like over 20 girls that get naked in this. If that's what you're looking for. Overall, it's a little bit boring because the plot's kind of dumb, and there's like a thing where Tane McClure's name is Kali, and then she's kind of mysterious, and then at some point somebody's reading a book about like the goddess Kali, so you think, oh, she's some kind of like entity that's helping these guys, but then they just kind of drop it. It's like they had that idea and then just said like, who cares? Nobody cares. Let's just put more boobs in here. So yeah, Sexual Impulse. Oh, also, there are absolutely unrelated sex scenes with Tane McClure and some guy we don't know. Just, there's one at the very beginning, and then there's one like later in the movie that has nothing to do with anything, no connection to the plot or any characters we know. I'm guessing that they decided they needed to have her naked, and they just did that. They might have come from another movie. I don't know. All right. Getting a little long-winded here, so we'll move on. Sexual Roulette is the second one. That's from 1996. So this one's easier to explain. It is a gender swap of Indecent Proposal. Guy and his wife need money. They go to Vegas. They lose a bunch of money, and she's there and says she'll give the guy $30,000 or whatever to spend the night with her. So this is a little bit more in the erotic thriller vein. There's like, loan sharks coming after him, and then Tane McClure is like tied up in it somehow, but you're not sure what her role is. And not as much variation in the naked ladies in here, but the women they have get naked quite often, and there's that. Also, there's a hot tub sex scene in here that is also in here, and it's also completely unrelated. So I don't know if she just had like a stock of ready-made sex scenes to insert to, you know, jazz up the movies she was in. But of the two, I thought Sexual Roulette was more enjoyable, despite having less nudity, which is kind of the point of these movies. And I gotta say, Tane McClure is a pretty decent actress, so there is that. I've watched a couple more I haven't talked about where they get some playmates to be in the movies, and they feel like they may be asleep or retarded. So you're not dealing with that level of acting, luckily, in these. So yeah, let me know. Are you guys into this like old timey softcore pornography, basically? I don't know. They're not good, but I've been enjoying them. So just thought I would talk about it and inject a little sleaze into the video. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.